Hey, and welcome to the 24th episode of the CMX Games DesignCast. I am Dave,
I'm Scott.
and we are 1 week into the Kickstarter campaign for Copper Country, and what a week it has been.
That's for sure.
We got off to an amazing start, thanks in no small part to tons of support from friends, family, and fellow Youpers originally.
Yep. Yeah, they really turned out in numbers, posting a lot of comments to the Kickstarter page. Oh, I went to school at Tech, or we vacationed in the UP. So it was really cool to hear about that.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
awesome to see.
and we made it up to #1 on KickTrack by the end of the first day.
That was ridiculous.
And hey, it wasn't just Youpers that were interested in us. There's also board gamers, since we were up pretty far on the BGG hotness list on that first day as well.
Yeah,
So
we inched our way up there, and then after a few days, just fell right off, but that's all right.
they were in the top 20 there for a little while. So
Yeah, we stayed in the top 20 for 2 days, I think. Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad for two Youpers and their first ever Kickstarter.
We got to what, 50% in 3 days?
Something like that, yeah. Right now, after a week, we're sitting at just over 2/3 funded, and like just literally a couple minutes ago, we got two new backers.
Thanks,
That's awesome.
backers.
So thank you very much.
Yeah. Every time one of those comes by, I'm like, oh, hey, we got a new backer.
New backer alert. Anytime my phone rings, I get or chimes at me. It's very exciting. So last weekend we drove down to Geekway to the West, which is a board gaming festival in St. Louis, Missouri. I say we drove down. Scott drove down. I rode along.
We also stopped at Steak and Shake, which I really appreciated.
That's the greatest. That is the greatest. Orange Freeze is probably the best thing in the world.
So some good came out of driving the length of Illinois.
Yes, for sure. So Geekway. Geekway was huge.
Apparently twice as big as it was last year.
It was huge, yes. So
Giant ballroom full of tables, really long tables.
I think, to be honest, we were not prepared for how big it was going to be because it was really easy for us to get lost in the crowd, and people had, we'd never been there before, and people had so many options for things to do, so it was somewhat difficult to get people's attention.
Yep, I mean, we had the little players wanted sign, so people would eventually trickle over, and we get a game going, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we did get 5 games in.
Yeah, but in terms of generating, getting eyeballs on it, yeah, it was a little harder. We probably could have, done a little bit more checking ahead of time or something to arrange things, perhaps. But live and learn.
We saw a couple other small games that knew what they were getting into more than we did.
Yep.
Had signs and reserved tables and things like that. So it was a good learning experience, and we still got a lot of valuable information about it. And throughout the day, we moved around a little bit, found some better spots to set ourselves up, get a little bit more traffic. Did get quite a few people stopping by, looking at the game.
Yep. Handing out promo cards.
Handing out a bunch of promo cards, yep.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that it was pretty cool to see a lot of sort of familiar faces from previous proto-spiels, in particular, Paul Imbeden and Brian Sura. Probably pronouncing those names wrong, but we're some of the earliest play testers of Copper Country outside of our group of friends. And we were able to run into them there and say, hey, check it out. And Brian came and we saw Gabe, who I had also seen at a previous proto-spiel. Let's see, the guy with I'm terrible with names.
What are you reaching for? Antidote?
Antidote, yes.
Yeah.
Antidote guy, bellwether guy.
know, yeah, Bellwether Games. Wow, I'm drawing a blank right now too, which is bad.
Yeah. Well, I do this to everybody, so nobody should be offended by that. Hopefully. But yeah, so I mean, it's really cool to see these people that have sort of seen the game in its rawest state, and then kind of get back in contact with them and show them that hey, the game's on Kickstarter, it's doing well, and yeah, there's uh, a lot of excitement about it. Looks like it was Dennis.
Dennis, yes, I had already looked it up. I was just waiting for you to finish.
Yes, I got it in. So yeah, so it was pretty cool to see them and reconnect with them.
Geekway would be a super ton of fun if you didn't have like a job going into it. Like that seemed amazing.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of games, super big game library. Yeah, just the space was available pretty much all night.
We just couldn't be there very long, so we had a very short period of time in which we needed to squeeze in as much Copper Country as possible.
Yep.
So we got back on, what, Sunday night?
Sunday night, yep.
And then this morning we finally got to finalize a few of the new pledge levels we've been tossing around for the past couple of days.
Yeah, people snapped up our custom pledge levels, custom card pledge levels, like amazingly fast. Like they were gone in day 2, and we did not expect that.
Yeah, and we've had people asking us like, "What else are you gonna do?" for a few days since then.
Yeah, like, hey, I would be perfectly willing to drop X dollars if you had something that made it worth my while.
All right, let us think of something. So we tossed around a bunch of ideas, trying to make sure that we're not making our lives or our campaign or our fulfillment or manufacturing too complicated by this, because again, this is our first go at Kickstarter, and we want to make sure we can handle everything we are trying to undertake here. And we had to get some stuff squared away with Chris, the artist, and with Panda through Brent. So we were able to announce today that we're going to be putting up 2 new pledge levels starting tomorrow, one of which will be advanced copies of the game, basically. We'll have the first 10 copies of the game off the assembly line airmailed to us. We will sign them and then send them to the backers that pledge for that reward.
Get a couple months early, maybe 1 to 2 months.
1 to 2 months early for those people. And then we're also going to be doing custom landmarks on the game board. So we did a bunch of stuff with custom cards, and we were trying to come up with something different. So a backer will be able to choose a specific landmark, like a building or a location in Copper Country, and we will have Chris do a specific illustration for that and highlight it on the game board on every copy of the game of Copper Country.
Yeah, this is something, we sort of found ourselves doing this as we were designing the board anyway, like, it'd be kind of cool if there's like a church around like where the Phoenix Church is or whatever, around Cliff Mine. So, yeah, I think that this is just a nice way to let other people have a say in it as well. Yeah.
And we have one other that we're still working on. We are really, it sounds like it's going to be possible, but we're waiting to hear back final confirmation on things, which we are really excited about if we can make it happen.
Yep, should be.
Not just because we're excited to offer it to backers, but because we really want it really badly ourselves.
Number 1. I would like it.
Yes. So that stuff's good. We're gonna get that going.
Definitely, if you're interested in getting a hold of these things, set your alarm for 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. And hit the refresh button on the Kickstarter page a few times because I don't expect it to go that fast, but pretty fast.
But you never know. Like I have no idea. Maybe nobody will take any of them for 5 days.
That would be amazing.
The entire thing just backfires on us. So speaking of Kickstarter, another thing that's been awesome is just to sort of see our source of backers expand as the campaign's gone on. You know, we had this very focused, small following on Facebook and Twitter and our mailing list at the start, and those people really pulled through for us and gave us a nice boost out of the gate. You know, and then we got that great start, and then we're sitting there thinking, now,
Yeah. No what?
now what's gonna happen now? I guess some more people need to back this project, right? How do we get that to happen? And then the game just starts popping up on blogs and
Podcasts
and stuff like that, and it's really cool. You know, it's amazing when we're sitting at Geekway and somebody comes up to us and said, "Oh, hey, I heard about your game on the Dice Hate Me podcast." We're like, "Oh, what?"
What was the first thing we did when we get back to the car? Listen to the Dice Hate Me podcast.
Hey, there it is. And I was super pumped when I looked on Shut Up and Sit Down this morning in their like weekly games news and saw that Copper Country had a mention there.
Yep, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is awesome. This weekend we are headed up to Houghton. We are going to be doing a game demo at Sports Card Connection on Saturday the 20. I better get the date right.
4th.
Saturday the 24th from, is it 1 to 5 p.m.?
1 to 6, I think.
1 to 5.
I don't know, sometime around there.
Starting at 1 o'clock, I'm pretty sure that's right. We'll be at Sports Card Connection in Houghton. We're also going to be doing some television interviews, spread the word of Copper Country a little bit more, visiting with our families, and then heading back down to Madison.
Yep, 1 to 5. You were right.
Awesome. So 1 to 5 at Sports Card Connection on Saturday, May 24th. If you're in the Houghton area, come check out the game.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Sports Card Connection was where we used to buy all of our Magic and Star Wars cards.
Yes, it is. We spent a lot of time there. Spent a lot of our disposable income there.
What little there was.
Yeah, what little there was, we did spend there. It's pretty awesome to be going back there with our game.
Yep.
It's very cool. And they sell a lot of board games now, which they didn't do when we were going.
It was really cool going back in there and seeing that.
All right, so we'll be back next week with the report on what happened in week 2 of Kickstarter.
That's right. Hopefully with an update about our new backer levels potentially.
Our new backer level, yeah, I hope so.
And, just want to say thanks to all the backers. Like, this has been an amazing amount of support so far.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
3 more weeks.
Yeah, 3 more weeks. We're 2/3 funded. 1 weekend. We got 3 weeks to go. Feels like we're gonna make it. Doesn't mean I'm not nervous, but it feels like we're gonna make it.
Let's do this.
All right, so we'll be back next week.
See ya.